Tonight, backlash builds over the arrest of Father Ted comedian Graham Linehan at Heathrow. The head of the Met has called for more clarity over the policing of social media posts, and now the Prime Minister has also waded in.
We must ensure the police focus on the most serious issues and the issues that matter most to our constituencies and all communities.
Also tonight, new term, same worries. Head teachers tell us that losing specially trained police could be catastrophic for children's safety.
He's made a real mess of things, hasn't he?
Don't you see what this means for Downton?
The end of an era. We're on the red carpet for the last ever Downton Abbey. Good evening. The boss of the Metropolitan Police has said his officers are in an impossible position when it comes to dealing with statements made online. Responding to the arrest of Father Ted comedian Graham Linehan, Sir Mark Rowley said his force should not be policing toxic culture war debates. Linehan was arrested by 5 armed officers at Heathrow Airport on Monday evening over posts he'd made about trans issues. This afternoon, he released audio of his arrest in which he threatens to sue the force. The Prime Minister has responded too, saying it is important that police can focus on the issues that matter the most, like knife crime and violence. Our political correspondent Simon Harris has the story.
I think I've won about 5 BAFTAs personally, 1 Emmy. Done about 5 sitcoms, 3 of which are kind of, near household names.
By his own admission, Graham Linehan has an impressive CV. His most famous creation is the Irish clerical comedy Father Ted.
God, why do nuns have such awful music when you're on hold? If I hear Ave Maria one more time, I don't know. Excuse me!
Ave Maria.
But on Monday, Linehan was arrested by 5 armed police officers at Heathrow Airport over comments he made on social media about trans issues. He recorded the moment.
I'm under arrest. You know what this country looks like to America. I'm going to sue you into the ground. I'm going to sue you into the ground. I'm going to sue you into the ground.
What the devil are they sending 5 armed officers to arrest somebody for a tweet? Enough is enough. We've had enough of this nonsense. I want police officers on the street stopping people from stealing from others, from knifing people, not because of something they've said that might have offended somebody.
Now the Met Commissioner, Sir Mark Rowley, has released a strongly worded statement criticising government policy. Sir Mark said policing had been left between a rock and a hard place, adding, "I don't believe we should be policing toxic culture wars debates, and officers are currently in an impossible position." In Parliament, the Prime Minister was challenged by a Conservative MP.
Some may have found Mr Linehan's comments offensive, but that isn't the point. If you don't support speech you don't like, you don't support free speech.
We must ensure the police focus on the most serious issues and the issues that matter most to our constituencies and all communities. And that includes tackling issues like antisocial behaviour, knife crime and violence. And we have a long history of free speech in this country. I'm very proud of that and I will always defend it.
Tonight, Sir Sadiq Khan echoed the Commissioner's call for clarity from the government on the balance between free speech and inciting violence. Simon Harris, ITV News.
A man's been charged with murder and attempted murder after the death of a 15-year-old boy in Ladbroke Grove. Rene Graham died after being shot in Emsley Horniman's Pleasance Park on the 21st of July last year. A second man was also shot at but escaped unharmed. 25-year-old Abdurrahman Boumzou will appear in court this week. Talks to avert next week's tube strikes have ended without a settlement. Members of the RMT union are planning to walk out from Sunday to Thursday, with Transport for London warning of little to no tube service. Tube workers have been offered a 3.4% pay rise, but the union is demanding a shorter working week. A TfL spokesperson said a 32-hour week was completely unaffordable and off the table, but bosses were open to more talks. And a scaffolder has lost a court case which could have forced Transport for London to suspend the ultra-low emission zone. Noel Wilcox from Hemel Hempstead argued that ULEZ road signs were unlawful and he was entitled to a refund. TfL claimed the case was abuse of process, which could cost millions of pounds in refunds to drivers. Mr Wilcox says he plans to appeal after a county court judge threw out the case. Now, as children head back to school this week, there are all the usual worries for parents. Will other children be kind? Can they cope with the workload? But there are, of course, more serious concerns as well. Since 2020, more than 700 children in the capital have been caught with weapons, including knives and firearms at school. This term marks the first without Safer Schools officers patrolling the corridors after they were axed in the Met Police's latest round of budget cuts, a decision that some head teachers described today as catastrophic. Carolyn Sim has more.
When your brother's like fresh today.
When Kamari Serenkuma Barnes was murdered 8 years ago, he'd only just stepped outside his school gates. The 15-year-old was chased by a fellow pupil the same age as him, who stabbed him 3 times. At the time, the school had been assigned a Safer Schools officer, a specially trained police officer. But this year, that role has been axed. Today, Kamari's mum said children should have been consulted about the change.
What would help moving forward is having a presence that young people can know it's always going to be consistently there, not something that, oh, if they call, someone might arrive. So they feel safe to go to and from school.
Safer School officers used to be embedded in schools so they could build trust among young people, improve safety and prevent crime. They worked closely with teachers, parents and other partners. But in May, they were replaced by dedicated ward officers who cover a much wider area. They now focus on patrol, problem solving and antisocial behaviour. They try to keep children safe outside of schools. The changes were discussed at the London Assembly's Police and Crime Committee today, and not everyone welcomed them.
I think it is the single most catastrophic decision in keeping children safe in the last 10 years of my professional experience. I am crushed by it personally and at a loss as to explain how it's happened.
But officers on the panel stood by the plans, which are part of a larger restructuring of the force.
Thank you.
What we're trying to do as a police service is ensure that every interaction we have with a child leaves a positive contact, and we are not just there to enforce. If you look at a true evidence base, there is no positive or negative evidence base which says that having police officers in schools has a positive or negative impact.
But some believe that policing schools in any form isn't the answer.
The best way to respond to those harms is not through the police. The best way to respond to those harms is by providing care in schools and to not cut pastoral services and mental health services in schools. It's to invest in teachers in schools.
The new roles will be filled by December, with the Met hoping the officers will become an integral part of the community. Carolyn Sim, ITV News.
Well, keeping our children safe in and out of the classroom has become ever more complicated because of smartphones. Today, the mother of murdered schoolgirl Brianna Jai published an open letter calling for a full ban on mobile phones in schools. Esther Jai says her daughter was killed by social media before she was murdered, and her phone addiction impacted her education and her ability to make friends. Her campaign has the backing of actor Kate Winslet and London boxer Frank Bruno. Well, to discuss this further, I'm joined by Nova Eden, who's a children's mental health expert who was behind Barnet becoming the UK's first smartphone-free borough. Nova, thank you so much for coming in. You're really passionate about this, aren't you? Just briefly outline what you think the main problems are with children and smartphones.
We now have an overwhelming amount of evidence to show that there are alarming and rising levels of depression, self-harm, suicide, and anxiety in young children. It's not just about what's happening within the 4 walls of schools. This is about the tragedy of modern childhood. These smartphones are highly addictive. They are keeping children from doing all the healthy activities that they need, socialising face-to-face, what they need for their healthy brain development. So the mere presence of a smartphone, we know, is a distraction in schools.
Yes, and this is exactly what Esther Jai is saying in her campaign. Let's just for a second bring in what the government's saying, because Wes Streeting has responded today. This is what he said.
We do listen carefully to what campaigners are saying, and we are looking at the whole issue of how we keep children and young people safe online, wherever they're accessing online devices, because obviously, we think it's important that when children are in classrooms like this one, they're paying attention to the teacher at the front of the classroom.
OK, so he's kind of agreeing with the general idea, but just how difficult is it in practice to bring in this ban? How difficult did you find it in Barnet, for example? Could it be rolled out across the country?
Yes, absolutely. It's such an important campaign, but this is just a small part of really what we are trying to achieve. We know that Gen Z are growing up in this uncontrolled experiment. We didn't have the evidence and research many years ago when we first started giving smartphones and social media to children, but we do know now that it's causing an array of problems, and in schools particularly there's safeguarding issues. It's a huge distraction. This policy of phones being kept in bags, we know that it doesn't work. And also we want to make sure that the next generation of children that are coming up into the schools are having that 7 to 8 hours a day free from their smartphones, free from the distraction, and getting back to having a childhood again.
Do you know someone else who agrees very much with what you're saying is Robbie Williams? We spoke to him last week. He said he does not want his children to have phones at all. This is what he said.
How do you navigate all that with
They
your
don't have
kids?
phones. They're not going to have phones for as long as humanly possible. I'm 51. I can't deal with the corrosive nature of the internet and things. It hurts me. It ruins my day. How can I give this drug to a 12-year-old? How can I give this drug to a 7-year-old?
Very briefly, we're running out of time, but a drug, strong words.
We need to challenge the norms that are no longer serving our children. It should be no smartphones before the age of 14, no social media before the age of 16, all schools to be smartphone free, and we desperately need our government here in the UK to step up and protect our children here in the UK.
OK, Nova Eden, very good to speak to you. Thank you. Still to come.
It's hard to accept that it's time to go.
After 15 years of highs and lows, it's time to say goodbye to Downton Abbey. We'll be live with stars Hugh Bonneville and Penelope Wilton on a very wet and windy red carpet. But first, reality dating show Love is Blind is one of the most watched series on Netflix. The premise is simple. Men and women date in pods where they can't see the person they're speaking to. Their identity is only revealed after they've become engaged. Confused? Take a look.
This is the place where you will choose someone to marry without actually ever seeing them.
Can I start with, who are you, please?
My name's Megan.
Megan, so lovely to meet you. My name's Kieran.
I've always gone into relationships, never fully trusting people.
Can you see yourself falling in love with me?
Yeah, absolutely. I just got goosebumps.
Oh, I want to do cartwheels around the room now. Will you marry me?
I was like, of course I will marry you. Oh my gosh.
I'm shaking.
Oh my God.
Well, this year, 3 couples said I do at the altar after just 6 weeks of knowing each other. I'm thrilled to say I'm joined by one of those couples now, Megan and Kieran from Balham, who are laughing as they're watching themselves back. Is that weird?
It's weird, yeah, us crying, us laughing.
Every single emotion. Did either of you think that going into this you would really find love, really get married?
Honestly, going into it, no. I went in like very open-minded, hopeful to find love, but did I really think I was going to get married? No. Told my mum, don't worry, I'm not going to get married, of course not.
I was exactly the same. I'm very open to the experiment, but just never thought that, out of 15 girls that were dating, I would find the one. And
One of them would be the one.
I was very wrong.
It's statistically quite unlikely.
Exactly,
isn't it?
yeah,
But
we're
it
very
did happen.
lucky. Very lucky.
Yeah, you are the only couple from Series 2 still together. The others haven't fared so well, have they? It's like slightly awkward viewing at times. What's your secret then?
I think communication. I mean, you hear a lot of buzzwords when it comes to relationships, like communication, trust, all these things, but they're so important. And one of the questions we get all the time is, have you had your first argument yet? And like, how do you guys, bicker and stuff? And I think it's really important that you communicate properly so that you don't ever get to the point of having like big blow-up arguments.
Yeah.
And we're really good at communicating with each other, and we just deal with things head on. And we also have a load of fun, which I think is the secret to everything.
I think laughter.
Yeah, laughter's the secret. I mean, you talk about communication, and actually, in a way, that's probably the foundation of your relationship, isn't it? Because you had to talk so deeply in those pods, probably in a way that many couples maybe never do in their whole lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we had conversations with each other that we've never had with anyone before. So I think it just opened up so many parts of us that we just connected on such a deep level that, yeah.
It accelerates things massively. Like, I think it's difficult to explain to people just from watching it, like how much it accelerates things. But obviously there's so many conversations we have in a short space of time. You really feel like you know the person, you know how to communicate, and you know everything you need to know to spend the rest of your life with them.
Kind of condensed down, isn't it? I have to say, though, it didn't look great at the beginning, did it, Megan? Because there was one thing you were very sure about. Have a look.
There's one thing I'm not looking for in here. It's a gamer. Gamers, in my eyes, they can come across as a bit immature.
My job is actually in the gaming world, so I'm an entrepreneur in the gaming space.
Oh! What changed?
Do you know what? It was just Kieran. I fell for him no matter whatever his job was. I didn't mind. I was actually obsessed with him. But I think it was the passion that Kieran had for gaming that changed my mind about it. And I feel like I don't actually ever see you game.
No, I think Meg's view is a very common view of kind of what a gamer is, what a stereotypical gamer is. And ultimately, I'm very passionate about gaming as a hobby. I've obviously made it my career, which is not for everyone, but for me, it's an amazing pastime. It's a great way for, it's cathartic for me at the end of a busy day just to sit and sort of decompress through a game. I always think it's very important to have balance in life, I would say.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah. Absolutely. Listen, we haven't got much time left, but what next? Your parents did go to the wedding, but lots of your family didn't. So you're going to have a big do?
Yes, next year, 2nd of April, we're going to have a love party. We're going to get all of our friends and family who couldn't come, because obviously it was very last minute.
Lovely.
Yeah, we're just going to redo it and do it exactly how we would have done it.
Absolutely lovely. It's such a joy to meet you both. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having us.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now to the big screen now, and it is the end of an era. After 15 years on our screens, Downton Abbey is coming to an end. The third and final film, the grand finale, premieres in Leicester Square tonight. Helen Keenan is there for us. Before we talk to her, let's have a look at what's in store.
It's hard to accept that it's time to go. Your friendship has never been more important to all of us. But the future of Downton Abbey is now in Mary's hands.
Families like ours must keep moving to survive. And all of your support is more important to me than I can say.
So goodbye to Downton. Hello to Helen.
Hello. Well, after 6 seasons, 2 movies, we're on the final chapter of Downton Abbey, and who better to speak to about that than Hugh Bonneville, who's been there from the very start.
Hello, good evening. Before I talk about the fluff and loveliness of our wonderful film, what's about to happen in Gaza City is indefensible. The international community must do more to bring it to an end. Downton Abbey is a lovely film, and we're going to celebrate 15 glorious years of it tonight. It's a grand finale, and we had a great time making it, and it's a great love letter to the fans.
So look, what can we expect from this film?
Well,
where are we up to in the Downton Abbey?
We're in 1930, and the Wall Street crash has just happened, and as always, there are the rumblings of change in the great castle, and it's time for Lord Grantham to finally, perhaps, hang up his walking stick and hand over the keys of the castle to the next generation.
Now look, there are a lot of familiar faces, aren't there, for this final outing? How great is that?
Oh, it's wonderful to have Paul Giamatti back. We've got Alessandra Nivola and Jolie Richardson joining us. It's a wonderful cast, but really I think at the heart of it, it's come back to roost in the castle with the characters with which the audience has become so familiar over the years. And I think the fans who've stuck with it over those years will really feel that they've been rewarded for their loyalty.
And it must be really nice as well, having so many of those familiar faces back together. That must have been very nice for, yes, of course, the audience to see all of that, but also for you guys to come together.
Well, we've been, wow, this is noisy here. We've been part of a family, really, a second family to our own families. We've been through thick and thin together over 15 years. And so it's always nice to get back together. Originally, we didn't even think we'd get past the first season, because in those days we were told constantly by the press and others that costume drama was dead. Nobody wanted to watch such a boring old thing. But the fact that we've returned again and again, I think is testament to the producers, to the writing quality of Julian Fellows, and to our camaraderie, that we just love telling these stories. And but this is the last one.
And look, I've heard that there's been a lot of celebrations in the background, is that right? Is there something about jumping in a swimming pool?
That would be too much to reveal. Yeah, well, I think that was the end of the season 6. It was a very warm day, put it that way.
Now, look, this is, 15 years, isn't it, all together? What do you think the fans will be thinking at the end of this? Because it's been so loved and, like you said, sort of defied the odds.
Well, it's sort of a bittersweet feeling. I think what's been very special for us as a cast and a crew to learn is how many generations of people used to sit together and watch it. You'd get children with their grandparents. I mean, I love Breaking Bad, but I wouldn't watch it with my granny. And this show really brought families together. And we keep getting messages even now as new generation of children maybe start to watch it with their parents, or we get letters saying how it meant so much back in the day when they watched it with their gran, who's now passed on, or their daughter who's now gone and got married, or it was a family occasion, really. And I think that's what. I think that's what the legacy of the show will be. That it was a much loved family show.
And look, there's celebrity fans, aren't there? Even the royal family, the Rolling Stones. How weird is that, thinking they're with their feet up with a cup of tea watching Downton?
I know. I remember Ronnie Wood sending me a picture of him drinking tea with his pinky out, which of course is not the done thing.
Well, there you go, the final chapter.
All right, Helen, thank you very much. Of course, it's not about the politics, it's all about the film right there. Let's find out what's going on with the weather now. Here's Nick.
Come rain or shine, Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Hello, it's been very wet today at times, last night as well. In fact, this is the radar picture since the early hours, all of this rain coming across. Much needed rain, mind you, but it's possible to have been a very heavy downpour today. And umbrellas not doing too well in the very gusty winds too. Has improved this afternoon. There have been a few sunny spells around towards the end of the day. It's all down to this area of low pressure. There's another one just moving in very quickly. First thing tomorrow will bring another spell, quick moving spell of quite heavy and possibly thundery rain. And then high pressure, hello, this moves in for Friday and Saturday. That'll actually turn things a bit quieter for a couple of days. Won't last too long though. For the second half of the weekend, low pressure expected to bring some cloud and outbreaks of rain back towards us during Sunday. Along with that area of high pressure, we'll also be feeling a bit warmer. Temperatures back nudging the mid-20s in the very warm spots, but either side of that, showers tomorrow and the rain on Sunday. It is a mainly dry end to the day, though there are still some showers out there, and the bulk of the night is looking dry. Temperatures down to around 13 to 15 degrees. Starting the day tomorrow, up and out first thing, drier than today. However, we are expecting another area of rain to move through very quickly, probably during the rush hour. May get a rumble of thunder, hail and gusty winds. And then after that, sunny spells, yes, still a few showers, but becoming increasingly dry through the afternoon. Top temperature at around 21 degrees. So as it improves during the afternoon, it may actually feel quite nice. That's as the high pressure begins to arrive. It will be here Friday and Saturday with that quieter, drier weather before the rain on Sunday.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Finally tonight, the third instalment in the Knives Out series will open the London Film Festival at the BFI this year.
Impossible crime.
Won't you spare me over till another year?
For a man, a reason. This is the Holy Grail.
The murder mystery Wake Up Dead Man stars Daniel Craig, Mila Kunis and Andrew Scott. The festival, which opens on the 8th of October, will also see the eagerly anticipated big screen adaptation of Hamnet, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein and Springsteen biopic Deliver Me From Nowhere, starring Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen. And that's it from us. Lucrezia's here next with the evening news. But for now, from all of us on the London team, have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.